So we're all familiar with the phrase time is money. But it's so interesting to me because we are so willing to try to save money and it ends up costing us more time. So I was talking with a client it was a client last week, and we were talking about so I've been working with a client for about 2 months now. The thing is, I was introduced to this client about a year ago. And here's the truth no one tells you. At the level you're at, every time you reach for another book, every time you reach for another certification, every time you reach for another leadership training, and how to fix how you feel, it's costing you far more than time or money. I've been having this conversation after conversation with leaders who are realizing something. The things that helped them get to where they are no longer working. The things that are meant to grow their leadership are no longer working. The things that they used to do to interact with their team is no longer working. It got you where you are, but it's not meant to take you where you want to go next. It's not meant to work with the current climate or culture of this workforce, of this economy, of this community, of the culture that you want in your business. So they've tried every strategy and still feel stuck. This client, I've been in contact with him. I've been talking with him for a year. And every time he's, oh yeah, I see the problem. And again, not pushing, I just having conversations. And then finally about 2 months ago, he's okay. I realize now that if I would have started a year ago, I'd be a year ahead. And I don't want to be in the same place today or in a year from now that I am today. And so we started working together and how quickly things changed. And it's because we stopped looking at the surface fixes. Books are great. Certifications are great. I'm a lifelong learner. I am constantly looking at how I can level up, how I can grow. But the thing is, I do it from a lens of a foundation of how will this work for me? And you're like, okay, that's an easy. Why would I read a book or why would I take a training if I didn't know how it would work for me? The thing is that if every book you read fixed something, you wouldn't have any problems, right? Because I know you're a reader. Leaders are readers. And certifications and trainings and podcasts and YouTube videos and things, we are actively looking to solve our problems. But a lot of times it's the surface fix that we look for because it's that quick fix, the promise of immediacy. And so a lot of these common problems, a lot of these common solutions like books, workshops, confidence hacks, productivity systems, time blocking, all these things, they are great. But these are the symptoms that they're addressing, not the source. You can't strategize your self-doubt. You can't lead authentically if your identity and your leadership are out of alignment. If you don't understand how you're wired, you don't understand what your unique strengths and your core motivations are, you're not going to be able to lead from a place of foundation and strength and understanding and confidence. It's that fake it till you make it. It doesn't work. It works for a short time, but long term, it's just addressing that immediate need. And sometimes you're like, yeah, that immediate need needs to be fixed. But if we keep doing immediate needs, we feel empty. We feel like we're not getting anywhere and we're constantly feeling behind because we're not addressing the source. And let's just talk about it because some of the research that I've done of what does it cost as a leader, as a VP, as an executive, as a team leader, what does it cost you or a founder to not address your identity misalignment, to not address the core motivations, the unique wiring, the systems that work for you? And sometimes it costs over $125K and that's an average. I went to Forbes, I went to Wall Street Journal and started looking at the stats of what does burnout cost you? What is missed opportunities? What is a promotion? What is turnover? What does that cost you? And even for teams, we could be looking at $300K plus for a team that's out of alignment. That could be, so for you as the leader, as the lead in the situation, the lead in the organization, you're looking personally, it's going to be costing you around $125K plus. But for your team, we're looking at $300K plus. For you yourself being out of alignment because the culture won't align with what you want and what you do not match. the alignment of people can't trust because you seem unsure, even though you're not, or you seem wishy-washy, even though you're not, or you're trying to shift and change and grow. But if you don't have that firm foundation of where to grow from, it's going to cost turnover. I was talking with a company recently who they lost a pivotal person in their organization, in just that one department. And their entire plan shifted when that person left for a new opportunity. And that new opportunity was great for them. And because they did know themselves, they did know and they left for a mission. They left because that new company aligned with who they wanted to be and what they wanted to do. They say, one of the things he said was that I've turned down a lot of opportunities over the last few years. This one I knew in my core that it was the right opportunity. And the extra money didn't help. Or didn't hurt, I should say. The extra money didn't hurt. But the thing is, this team, as I'm talking with them, they're in panic mode. They lost one of the people who've been there the longest. They lost their center. And so now working with them, they're like, we have to focus on hiring, not growing, which we'll talk about. Sometime I need to do a podcast on that because it's actually an opportunity. Anytime you hire or fire, there's a really big opportunity because the entire culture shifts when one person changes in the organization and the team. But still, it's that this old organization, they're immediately going to the quick fixes. They just need to hire somebody. Do you know who you need to hire? What's the culture you're trying to build? Because they're shifty. They've been trying to shift the way that other departments in that same organization view them. And so just hiring someone who's good on paper, but what if they don't add to the culture? And so this is how your leadership misalignment and your quick fixes, this is how really ultimately you are costing you more than time and money. You're costing yourself opportunities, burnout, there's turnover, there's just the fulfillment, the getting excited about Monday morning going to work. Because I was reading about how culture is not what you do when you get to work, it's how you feel on Sunday night. And I was like, yeah, because I've been in jobs that I'm like, I love what I do. It's hard. It's maybe a little stressful at times, but overall I felt valued. I felt important. I felt like I had an impact to make. I felt that I knew my job and I could grow in it. But I loved the people that I worked with. And I've had jobs that I'm like, oh, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? And so now, when we are really looking at the surface level leadership fixes, when we're trying to fix our confidence by just faking it till you make it, we're trying to fix our leadership strategy, which is just by reading another book and then implementing a few of the takeaways. I love the book Atomic Habits, but there's only a few areas of that book. There's only a few key things of that book that actually work for me, that work with my wiring, with my core motivations. And so when I was reading it through the lens of, oh, this is what my core motivations need, or this is what my wiring needs, then I was able to just pick out what I needed. And I didn't feel guilty for not, or overwhelmed by trying to do it all. And so the reality is that we don't have time to keep focusing on quick fixes. This is when we need to go to the source. We need to look at why you do what you do. What are your triggers? What's your core motivations? What's your core desire? What's your core fear? What is your deep in your knower? What are subconsciously running away from? Because once you understand that, you can decide, do I need to run away from that or not? Do I need to run towards that desire? Or how can I achieve that desire with what I'm doing now? So the real issue is not the strategy, or you just don't need one more thing to add to your plate. The real issue is identity misalignment and limiting beliefs. And so this client, when we started working 2 months ago, and all the same problems. In fact, since that year that we started working, they lost 2 members of their team, 2 pivotal members on their team. They hired someone, but then had to let them go because they basically quit. They were not the right fit. On paper, they looked like they would be and looked like, but in person, the culture, their focus, just their character did not align with who they wanted to represent their team. And so Anyway, this 2 months I've been working with this fella, this guy, this leader, this executive. And he's like, why did I wait so long to do this? Everything's already changed. 2 months, just a few sessions together. And we were able to shift his mindset. We were able to shift and pull out the limiting beliefs, look at his identity as who he was and where he wants to go. And we were able to build bridges. We're able to look at, how are you wired? What's your core motivation? Because these are the natural innate parts of you that if you understand this, you build on top of it. You don't have to recreate it. You don't have to discover. No, you reclaim. And sometimes it's for the first time. You claim it versus reclaim it. But we're able to do this without feeling exhausted, without adding extra to-do lists. Actually, he was able to remove things from his to-do list, and some delegate and some dump, right? The 4Ds that we need to do, I don't remember what they are, but one of them's delegate and one of them's dump, like just get rid of it. And by doing that, he was actually able to spend more time with his team because he wasn't so focused on the task. He was able to delegate that to his team, and he was able to help develop leaders within his team, help them get what they want, the resources, the tools, the growth. And just within a couple of months, we have a plan that just step by step increases his authority. He says that his team members are already coming to him with more issues or more questions because they can trust him more. Because the real issue was not that he just wasn't pulling the right leadership strategy. It's he didn't have the identity alignment. He didn't understand his limiting beliefs and why he would react in certain ways. But now he gets to respond. Now he's consistent. Now he understands where he's coming from and where he wants to go. So the truth is, when your leadership is misaligned with your true identity, even success feels heavy. So you may hit your goal, but you lose the joy. And this is not that you need another strategy. All you need to do is align with who you are, with how you lead. It's not about leadership strategies. It is about your personal identity as a leader. And so this is exactly why I have the leadership strategy call. I call it strategy because we all look, and it's so crazy because sometimes the best strategy is looking inside. Most of the time it is. But the thing is, this brings clarity. It brings peace. It's the next step roadmap because you don't need 4 miles down the road. Let's get you started with just build that foundation, because then the confidence, the leadership happens authentically and without force. And that's what we're really looking at, right? That's what we really want, is we want to be able to just step into the room, trust that we will know in the moment what we need to do, and trust that we can handle any situation. It's not about knowing every possible outcome at every time. It's not about understanding what every problem that's going to come our way. It's not about planning for every worst case scenario. It's trusting that your foundation is so strong that no matter what comes to you, you'll be able to handle it. No matter what comes to you, you'll have the tools, the resources, you'll know yourself so well that it's just whether you lose a person on your team, like they promote or they move up or move out, or a product, something that you're doing, a goal isn't hit, you're able to manage it and to move forward, and you're actually able to use it as an opportunity instead of a liability. Because here's what I know. When you stop chasing fixes and you start leading from alignment, everything changes. Confidence stops fading. Clarity becomes effortless. And the leadership starts feeling like peace again. You start looking forward to Monday morning. Your team starts looking forward to Monday morning. And people stop wanting to look for other opportunities because they know that the opportunity they have now, they can build on. And with that, it's time. Time is actually way more precious than money. But the thing is, you'll lose both if you wait. You'll lose both if you're still striving for those quick fixes instead of those like source level identifications. Because I don't even want to say fixes, because it's really, once we bring it to light, it starts to shift automatically. We don't have to fix anything. We just get to discover, and we get to reclaim, and we get to step forward in it, knowing where your confidence lies. So if this conversation hits home, if you realize that you've been trying to fix these surface level symptoms And it's time to really see what's going on. And you can book your leadership strategy call. It's tammyraycoaching.com/call, or click on the show notes, or DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we'll talk. Because I guarantee that emotional intelligence, self-awareness, it does take time, but it's not a long time before you start seeing results. It is actually very quick when you start to see the results, when you understand why you do what you do. And that's the first thing we go after. So with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.